So the meeting's over then. I'm with Steve Tomlinson, who lives in Cranbeck. I have to say that Highways England won't talk to us after the meeting, so we can't get an interview with them, not without going through all the hoops of going to press office, and it'd be far too late by then. So what did you think then of what Mandy Foster from Highways had to say?
There were a few positive things that have come out of the meeting. Absolutely, we discussed a few things. However, everything seems to be a lot long term. Our residents and the community are very worried about the short term. There's been 4 fatalities within 5 weeks, and everything that was discussed today, we're talking, many months, years times. We need to see action now. So we're quite keen to keep pushing this, because we need to see things change in the short term, and then from that we get long-term alterations as well.
What did you think of things like, she said research shows lighting doesn't necessarily make roads safer, and roundabouts are full of issues of their own. A lot of suggestions that were put forward by locals, there seemed to be a very good reason why they wouldn't work.
Well, that is another thing that we did take on that. We're trying to highlight positives that we can do to change things, and everything we seem to get back are negatives. We want action that they can come back to us and say, right, this is what we can provide. This meeting, majority of it was, no, we can't provide this, we can't provide that. It would be much better if they could turn around and say, okay, we will be considering this, we'll consider that. We've got to look forward and try and change things for the positive. There was a lot of things that were for the negative on that meeting.
They were sort of suggesting it's going to take a year, isn't it, before anything is really sorted?
Yes, that's right.
If that.
Which is ridiculous. Like we said, 5 weeks, 4 deaths. Things need to change now. We appreciate the long-term things will take a bit of time. However, there are short-term methods that were suggested at the meeting, and hopefully that will be taken on board and things will get done in the near future, because every day we get people coming up to us saying that, they've had near misses at the road junction within the last couple of days. So things need to be done now. The worst thing that we can get is if there's another fatality, whether it's a pedestrian or a car user, has a major impact, which is something we've been said time and time again from years ago. It was highlighted the risk of these junctions, Welburn and Cranbeck, and it wasn't a case of if, but when things are going to happen, and it's going to happen again if things don't get changed.
And the issue of Ganton, where it suggested that the people of Ganton probably made a bigger fuss, and when money became available, got their junctions sorted. What do the people of Cranbeck and Welburn learn from that?
Well, it's disappointing. You shouldn't feel like you have to shout the loudest to get things done. What's happened should speak volumes. 4 deaths. We shouldn't have to. We are trying to make as much voice as we can, but it should be taken from that is the actual impact that's had, particularly with the locals. We know these people. It's so disturbing to find out what has happened. We are trying to make a shout, but when you hear that if you don't shout loud enough, things aren't going to get done, that's ridiculous. Things need to get done.